Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna the Medium, and also an intuitive coach. Just very quickly, these are obviously general readings and they will not apply to all of you. So take bits and pieces that apply and throw away the rest. Listen to your other signs, your moon sign and your rising sign, as well as your sun sign, as these more often than not will paint a more complete picture of what is happening in your life. What I have noticed over the last year and a half or so from you is that these readings, generally speaking, will not make much sense to you at the very beginning, but they almost always make complete sense to you at the end of the month or the beginning of next. And I have many of you email me personally saying that it made no sense to you at the beginning, and then halfway through or the third week into the month you listened again and you were shocked how everything was coming out the way it was said. So always listen at the end of the month, because I feel that will connect with you much more so. Also, these are general. I cannot connect with every single one of you. There's thousands of you watching. So if you send me a comment asking how this fits in your life, it's impossible for me to answer that unless, of course, we connect on a one-on-one level. And if that's what you would like, that information is down below, and I would be honored to have a session with you. And I think that's all I have. I wish you a wonderful month of November. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching, for liking and sharing. I look forward to seeing you in December. And for those of you who are celebrating holidays, like in the United States, the Thanksgiving Day, I wish you a wonderful holiday. And without further ado, let's move on to the actual readings. Hello, beautiful Leos. This is going to be your reading for the month of November 2017. What an extraordinary reading you have. I know many of you have had a difficult time over the last few months, and I feel for you. If it makes any difference, you're not the only ones. Most signs are going through a fundamental shift in their lives. So you're no different. You've been feeling this for quite some time. It's been coming to you or at you for quite some time. You may have wanted to resist it, but there is no choice anymore but to go through this. So let me go through what I channeled. One of the things that I saw, I have some pages written down here. When I'm channeling, I have to write it down, otherwise it just leaves. I felt very clearly that something is about to be born. Now, could this mean, practically speaking, as some of you are having a baby just about to be born? Absolutely. But for most of you, this is going to be a feeling or a knowing that something is about to take place, be born, or take flight. What I saw was a beautiful metaphor that Spirit showed me, and the metaphor was someone was making a beautiful cake. In order for the cake to be a fantastic end result, it has to have certain ingredients. What I saw is that the ingredients were being mixed, and I'll go through what the metaphor is. And what was shown very clearly is that the eggs were being broken in order to be put into the recipe, so that the recipe would have all the necessary elements in order to eventually yield an end product or end result, which is a magnificent cake. The aspect of cracking the egg was showing me that sometimes, in order to get to the good parts, some things have to be broken. In this case, it was a feeling that to get to your good parts that you may not have had awareness of, sometimes it can be a painful process. It can be a process of needing to crack in order to expose the beauty, the gift, the essential element that is required for you in order to get you where you want to go at a certain point in the future. And that was such a beautiful metaphor. I also felt that the readiness of the situation was at a point where the mixing was happening, which told me the cake isn't ready yet. So whatever it is that you are waiting for, whatever it is that you are wanting, isn't ready yet to be born, to be baked, to be in a physical reality in your life. And the big part is that there is an important part of you that has to come into this recipe or this element in order for it to be exactly as it's meant to be, so that it's perfect in the end. So there will be some cracking going on in the month of November, I must say. What does this mean? It just means that some situations will transpire where you will crack and you'll say, for example, I've had enough, I'm done, I'm doing this instead. And this means that many of you may feel like you are being pushed to the edge, excuse me. An edge where there is a new beginning, but there is also an end at the same time. And this pushed to the edge is going to require you to take a leap of faith and to, for some of you, face your fears. And there isn't anything terrible about this. It's not like you're losing anyone. That's not what I'm seeing. This is about a situation in your life or at work that is requiring a dramatic change from you in order for you to be a better person, better human, to feel better about yourself, to feel better about your life, to just be in a more stable position in some aspect of your life. Then I saw an image of you packing things up and putting things away for storage for later use, which told me that some of you will be packing things up at home that you're not using right now and you're going to use it later. So that's the mundane aspect of the message, not less important, but mundane. The metaphor about this is that there are some things you will be packing up, and how do I want to say it? You'll be packing up. Some of you will be packing up the things that you've used up until this point, and you will put it in the storage on the back of your mind because it will not be necessary at this point. And what I see first and foremost is when it comes to work situations, some of you may pick up your stuff and put it in a storage because what you have been doing up until this point is no longer. You will need it later, but for whatever reason, there seems to be a space between the old and the new that is a bit of almost like the status quo. The other thing I saw is another metaphor. I love metaphors because they speak so much rather than a linear sentence. I saw you sitting on a temporary chair. The temporary chair was not very comfortable, which tells me that you might feel in the month of November slight discomfort when it comes to your stability. Okay, the stability could be financial, it could be physical, could be not physical for the most part, emotional and mental for sure. Could be spiritually as well. There feels to be a slight edge when it comes to your sense of stability because it comes from not knowing what you're going to do next. I also felt that particularly for you, the autumn months or fall months have a lot of question marks. So this is telling me that for the remainder of fall, which is up until December 21st, you are going to feel slightly awkward. You're going to feel unstable on some level. You're going to feel like you're not sure whether you're coming or going or where you are coming or going. This may be a feeling internal with regards to a vision or pursuit, or this can be an actual physical thing where you're not sure where you're going to move, relationship, work, or health, but health is not a big part of this. It's a very small part of this. The other thing I saw is that they took me up until the beginning of January. So and many of you are dealing with headaches right now because I just got a massive headache. And this is telling me, A, you're actually getting physical headaches. You have a headache right now as I'm speaking about it. Or your situation is creating a headache in your life or pressure in your life. You're under a lot of pressure. But I was taken to the beginning of January or end of December, and there was this huge wall in front of me. And I understood that I can, at that moment, that's it. There's no way of going further then I was going to have to decide. And seems like the end of the year is going to be a major decision time for you. I saw that you are going to have to decide, do I go here or do I go there? Because where I was going up until this point is no longer an option for me. And again, this can be in any area of your life. I also saw that you were calculating risks and crunching numbers. What does this mean? It means that there will be opportunities presented to you that may be different, somewhat different, or very different than what you are used to, and you will have to, and you'll be calculating within your mind, you know, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? You'll also be calculating, financially speaking, if it's going to be feasible for you to go this way or that way. Many of you may be surprised to see that more than one opportunities may be presented to you, and financially speaking, you're going to figure out which one is going to be more fruitful for you. So there's definitely that there too. I also saw that you are going to be trying new things to see how it feels. So it definitely sounds to me like many of you are either choosing to change your career or your relationship, or you are being asked to move on from the environment you currently are, private life, personal life, or work life, either one. And I saw that whatever you're going to be trying on or trying is something you are not used to. So there's definitely an element of something different, something fresh, something out of the ordinary for you. Now remember, when I saw the egg being cracked, and Spirit was telling me that the cracking of the egg is important in order for it to get to the recipe, so the final result can be a beautiful cake. I feel like whatever is happening in the month of November is going to crack open some elements within you that will then allow you to pursue something that you originally did not intend, or was something that you never thought of before. I also saw you hanging up the coat and getting to work. What does this tell me? It tells me that many of you will choose to leave your identity behind. Meaning, if you have identified yourself as a certain individual because you do this, or that, or you choose to identify yourself as being this, or that, many of you will be choosing your identity. That could be as simple as choosing your name. That's not going to be for many of you, but it could be as complicated or as wide in range as choosing to become something or somebody different by completely reorganizing your thoughts, and also change your career and your personal life. The other component of you going to work, it was telling me that there was a time of preparation. You are getting ready you're getting ready for something substantial. And again, you're researching, you're looking at things. I saw you wearing glasses, which tells me either you wear glasses or you need to see very clearly, and you need to be very, they're saying here, stay optimistic, and you need to be very focused on what it is that you're doing. Point is that at the beginning of new year, there is a brand new foundation for many of you. And I hear the word goal. So many of you will be starting a brand new goal. And that is, could be a weight loss. And that is fantastic. So let's go through the cards very quickly, because I'm looking at the clock here. Oh, the number that I was shown was the number 8. Well, you're all about 8. Whenever I think of a Leo, I think of number 8. So this can signify that you are born in August, and this will connect with you much more. But it also signifies that a lot of what you're going through right now is going to affect the sense of your power, or sense of power with respect to how you feel about yourself and the world. The word stability is coming in. So some of you might feel a little bit unstable, but they're saying here it is temporary. And I also feel that many of you have been expecting this to come at some point. You just didn't know when it was going to transpire. Transformation is being shown to me, which is the 13th card of Major Tarot, and it signifies death. So many of you are going through an absolute rebirth, and that practically happens to every single sign, I believe. So you're not alone. Now, what are you leaving behind? Very interesting. 3 cards came up, and I read my cards not necessarily the traditional way. I actually don't read them traditional way most of the time because I'm still learning. I read them my way. You have solar plexus chakra, you have Ace of Wands, and you have throat chakra, both in reverse. What this is telling me is that something that at some point felt very good. Well, it could be career. You have a lot of career element here. It felt significant. It made you feel powerful. It drove your fire. It was inspirational. Something that felt like that at some point is no longer. You're leaving this behind. This could be a job, or this could be a relationship, or this could be a certain way of living. But in the process, whatever it was, it has left you feeling slightly insecure and also like you lost your voice. Okay? So something that was meant to be permanent is turning out to be temporary. And in the process of it being temporary, it took you down a notch, which is what I'm hearing. So there's definitely a component, which is I can see why they're showing me the number 8 as being your power, feeling slightly unstable. It's because I feel like you're coming out of a difficult situation. And there's just no 2 questions about it. He's saying you're coming out of a difficult situation. And some of you are digging yourself out of dirt. And that's a metaphor. Now, what is in front of you? Very interesting. The 2 cards came up. You've got the Sun, and you've got 6 of Wands in reverse. So what this is telling me is that in the month of November, you will feel like you're losing a battle. You will feel like you'll feel disappointed. You will feel, what's the point in trying? You will feel slightly, I want to say disempowered. That is what I'm feeling. I also feel they're saying to me lack of control and lack of confidence. But because the Sun card comes up, it seems to be a contradictory message, doesn't it? But what I'm being shown here, when I saw this card, I heard, reach for the light, reach for the scars, look towards the sun. So what this is telling me is that even though you might feel in the month of November slightly shaken, and this is not, when I say slightly shaken, don't freak out. This is something you have been dealing with for a long time. It is just a slight temporary discomfort you're going to go through. So it's not like this is saying, oh my God, things are going to go upside down in your life. Not at all. It is a culmination of something that you have been feeling for quite a few months, for some of you, and for some of you years, and for some of you weeks. Now remember, we are shifting energy, and as new energies come in, that energy is going to push things out of our life that are no longer working. And sometimes we hang on to things that are no longer working because they're practical, because they're easy, because they're difficult, but we know what to expect, because they're safe in some way, shape, and form. Where we're going, energetically speaking, it's no longer going to suffice. So eventually, things are going to, need to move themselves out. So what this is saying here is, though you may feel slightly defeated in the month of November, there will be moments where you will feel exalted. That's an interesting word being used. But also to look at the situation as the blessing in disguise. And I love that message because I can see what's happening. I can feel it. You were told there is something about to be born, and that's exciting. Now, what is causing all of this? What is influencing all of this? 9 of Swords. You have been feeling quite dull for quite some time. You have been feeling mentally and emotionally drained and absolutely exhausted. I feel some of you are feeling like you have given it your all and there is nothing more to give. 9 of Swords is the number of endings. You are leaving something difficult behind. Notice this lady, she's sitting on a rock, which is quite uncomfortable, I might add. And she's looking at a stormy sky, but you can see there is a clarity here that's being shown. I've never noticed this in my cards, so they're just showing this to me now. There's a lot of fiery energy here, which is telling me that you have been witnessing storm for quite some time, but the storm is clearing. Okay, and you are sitting here, you can see she has a weapon here, she's been battling. So you have been battling for quite some time. Maybe it feels like you've been at a war for quite some time, and maybe this is actually really true for you. You have been in a war, but the sky is clearing. So things are about to end, and they're about to end in a good way, which may not feel comfortable, but it's necessary. Now, what is in front of you on what's in the near future? You have Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So here's your number 10. There is an absolute completion in an area of your life, and because of it, your circumstances will change. They will change for the better in the long run. They will change substantially for the better for many of you. They're showing me that as a result of this, you will be getting a gift at the end of this. And what I see is you receiving a gift which it is a white box. It's a metaphor with red, thank you, signifies security, so it also signifies money. And you're opening the box, and I see this brilliant, huge diamond. What is diamond? That's something that's often very priceless, particularly when it comes at this size. So the message here with the metaphor is, there is something greater beyond this that you cannot see yet. Your job is to take it step by step, take it day by day, knowing that you're about to be reborn. And when I wrote here, something is about to be born, that's you, brand new you. And as a result of brand new you being reborn, brand new circumstances will enter your life, and brand new people will enter your life. So I want to say not all is lost. I don't know what you're going through. It sounds like a fundamental shift. I hear the word religion, which is really interesting, because I always make a point not to talk about religion, because that can be quite controversial, and I don't belong to any religion in particular, but I admire all religions and different aspects of each religion I believe in, and some I don't. But some of you might be going through a religious breakup, and you might be leaving your faith behind, and your faith has been everything that you have known, and it has been your foundation up until this point. But for whatever reason, you are going through realizations that your belief system is fundamentally no longer working for you, and that's okay. I have 2 additional cards when I said, what do they need to focus on? Brilliant, just brilliant. You have the card of regeneration. And this is basically rebirth, new opportunities. And the message of this card is, if you're feeling like failure, if you feel like you've done all of this for nothing, think of that as the seed that eventually, when it's germinated and it grows, it transpires to a magnificent structure. You see this tree, I'm just going to show it here, is coming out of rubble. This is rubble. It's a war zone. And this tree is growing out of this rubble, and it's reaching towards the sun, where the illumination is, metaphor, and where the sun warmth and nurture is. So many of you will be turning into spirituality for help. But basically this message says, you are being reborn, and just like cracking the egg, we need to crack the shell in order to get to the good part, which is the egg and the yolk, which makes the cake, which is a important part of an ingredient list in order to build or make a specific magnificent cake at some point. Just like that, you are going through a process of rebirth. And that isn't always a walk in a park. The other part of the message is to be fair. And what this is talking about is that life always has a way of balancing things out. So if you feel like you have been down, if you feel like things have not been going your way, if you feel like you have been trying with nothing in return, life has a way of balancing out the energies. So this is to remind you that after every storm, there is a calm. And if you are going through what feels a bit like a storm, know that just around the corner, you will see blue sky again and you will see the sun. Okay? And there's something very poetic about this message. There's something very uplifting. At the same time, there is a sense of there's no turning back. And I hear the words evolution. You are going through an evolution. All of us are going through an evolution. And this evolution is externalizing itself in your physical reality. And as you fundamentally change, and oftentimes we don't understand our changes until later because they happen on an energetic level, your environment has to change around you. There is no way around it because like attracts like. So as you fundamentally change, your likes, dislikes, your beliefs, everything else changes. And therefore, what used to be a norm can no longer, because it's no longer a norm for you. Be persistent. They're saying be proud of yourself, for this journey has taken a toll on you, for many of you. And I think I'm going to leave it with that. And I'm seeing the number 10, which is completion. I hope this made sense. This is actually a very deep, beautiful message. And even though some of you may be leaving some things behind, I feel you are going to a greater new beginning. It's not that I know, because it was shown to me and it was said to you. You are going through a rebirth. This tree is born out of rubble, out of ash. They're also saying here is that what you learn in the process, what you learn about yourself in this process will forever drive and inspire you. And then I hear the word strength. So I hope this makes sense. Listen to it at the end of the month, because sometimes at the beginning of the month it may not make sense. I wish you a wonderful month of November. Take care of yourself. You guys are just in the same boat as everybody else. So listen to your other signs, as this probably makes sense to you. It'll make much more sense to you. I wish you good luck. I wish you mountains of fortunes. Fortunes, and I cannot wait to see what's happening in December and 2018 for you. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for sharing. Of course, if you wish to have a private session, that information is down below for you, because this is very general. Thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you soon, and goodbye.